TAQ Capital. Technical analysis quickly.
This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Before taking any action based on the information provided on this channel, it is recommended that you seek the advice of a professional licensed financial advisor.
Let's do this.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is going to be a quick video on Bitcoin and the situation that's taken place as of last night when we had this massive candle and bullish explosion occur. Well, essentially what got me was I tried to adjust this orange wedge from here one more time, and it was not having it. Because if you watched the video yesterday, we did this, we had 4, and then we had to switch, this position to this position and so on. We just kept moving this wedge until finally it was time to break up. Now, I've been saying for a long time now that we're going to be breaking through this red wedge, but it was down here originally where it met there. Then we had to move it to meet here. And now after yesterday's explosion, we've got to move it to meet there. And this line is still going down. This line is also going down. So that means that this has to break up. So the next move we're looking at is bullish. Now, the two wedges that we do have formed are this blue one, which is a sideways broadening wedge. So we got 1, 2, 3 down here, 4 up there, and then it's going to be a swoop up and out. We also have this green wedge right now, which is here, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to come down here, and it looks like we actually hit in there. I'm going to have to zoom, and then we're probably going to have a part of a bounce before we have a breakdown, and then it should be that up and out, which, as you can see here, this kind of makes that W pattern, which we've seen so many times before in this one. See, there's the W, because this was a wick up here. And then we had it happen again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, another W. So it's been doing that. So we're probably going to be looking at another W here. But just keep in mind that if you're trying to get into a long, we probably are going to be breaking down out of this green before we go up. So if you're in this long now, you're going to want to sell it wherever it peaks at and then have it come down. When it comes down, you want to pick it up somewhere down in here before it goes back up. Now, something else to keep in mind, though, too, if I zoom in closely, this is the 30-minute chart. The green wedge was actually penetrated here. So if we look at the flow of this white line here, we actually have our breakout. So the question is, if this was a testing, because it's so small, it's so insignificant that it then comes down and goes up, or possibly, it's going to be up here before it goes down and up. This could have just been a testing and we're still going to break out. The other possibility is that this was the breakout, as pathetic as it is. And then all we have to do is drag that down, and then this changes the entire wedge to something like this, where instead of this being our third hit, the current fourth hit is our third hit. And then we're going to go up there for number 4 before we break down out of the bottom of the wedge. And what something like this would do is it would take us outside of the orange wedge that we've been in since the peak of the market, and then the green wedge that we've been in for, quite some time, specifically May 12th, and it'll take us out of the purple wedge that we've been in since August 14th. So that will end all 3 wedges here. But as you can see, we would be breaking down out of the green. So once we've completed this one and we've peaked out, then we're going to flop over, if that's the way this chooses to play out. So, my apologies on yesterday. I really thought that we were going to be looking at another adjustment of this orange symmetrical wedge, and we didn't have it. And I saw where my issue was looking on the 4-hour, and when we had the Ichimoku cloud on, you could see how close we were together here on the Tenkan and the Kijin, and this was an explosion looking to happen. And even if you look at some of the other timelines too, I mean, they were just so close together, so something was brewing for sure, and I just missed it. So I was so used to, for the last, I don't even know how many days, I mean, beginning on this wedge here, so September 21st, so the last week I've adjusted this orange symmetrical wedge like 5 times. And I thought we had one more adjustment in us before we were going to have the explosion. And theoretically, based on what the cloud says, we could have. It just wasn't the safest move because of the 4 hour. I mean, and look at this. You know, the 3 hour was just touching. They were standing on top of each other. So that was, again, an explosion waiting to happen. So my apologies on that one, on missing that. But these symmetrical wedges are my arch nemesis. I cannot stand them because they're uncertainty. They're just, it could go up and it could go down. I guess because they're on the bigger time frames here too, keep this in mind, because I talk about on the lower time frames, they could go either direction. I mean, technically they can go either direction anyway, but they mean nothing on the lower time frames. Just pick one. But at least on the higher time frames, when you start getting into like the 4 hour, the way that it came into the symmetrical wedge, which you can see here is up, this is likely how it's going to break out. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, we knew that anyway based on the red wedge. We knew we were going to come up and hit this. And now we know we're going to go up and break through it again, right? So being in a long in the, over the next few days, week or whatever is the safest bet as of now. But you are going to have some short, potential anyway, short downturn here before we go up. So just be mindful of that if you're going in with like some seriously heavy leverage or something to that effect. Since we bottomed out, we actually ran up this green wedge and then broke out the right of it, which actually took us up a little bit. But then we're now in this white wedge. 1, 2, 3, and then we just hit our fourth way over here. And now we should be breaking up out of the white wedge, hopefully up here to the blue wedge. Because if we look at our Fibonacci retracement tool here and we turn this on, you can see that to the peak of this, we should retrace below this white line. And we did. We barely did here, but we really did here. So now this looks like a solid retracement. So now the next stop should be up here around 19,393. And then that's when I anticipate that we're going to have our break down out of the bottom of the blue edge and then out of the green before we start our upward trajectory out of the red wedge that I was just talking about earlier. So that's where we're sitting right now. But that's it for me today, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you found this video helpful, like, share, and subscribe. Down below, you'll find my other socials, especially Instagram, where I post more timely updates because it's really quick and easy to do from my cell phone versus YouTube's whole production. So if you want those, go ahead and subscribe there. And thank you again for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great day out there and good luck trading.